This show is brought to you by StarCityGames.com, and check this out. On July 16th and 17th, the StarCityGames.com Open Series comes to Cincinnati, and this event is going to be huge. We're talking hundreds of players, over $14,000 in cash prizes, at least 18 players qualify for the Charlotte Invitational at the end of the year. Live coverage all day courtesy of SCG Live, and as much Magic the Gathering as we can pack into one weekend. So make plans to join StarCityGames.com in Cincinnati, and we'll see you there.
Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of the Magic Show. This week we're going to talk about our M12 Metagame, the decks, the strategies, the tiers, and the new archetypes you can expect to see this weekend in Cincinnati. Let's go. So we begin this week by looking at the two most powerful combos in Standard. These define your metagame more than anything else, as these interactions tell you what to expect, what you have to get around in order to win any event you're in. The first is Splinter Twin and Deceiver Exarch. This is an instant win combo, in that you make a copy of Deceiver Exarch to untap the enchanted one within Splinter Twin, and so on. Here's an example 4-0 list from a recent Magic Online Premier event. In it, you see a game plan of waiting for just the right time to slap down the combo and win out of nowhere. Jataxian Probe lets you ensure that the coast is clear, and Wormcoil Engine is a plan B when things go wrong. Note that the evolutions of this deck have begun to include Pyromancer's Ascension, as the format will now, for a short time, feature both Ponder and Preordain. For those who love that wacky 2-mana enchantment, it will probably never shine brighter than it can right now. The second most powerful combo is Valakut the Molten Pinnacle and Primeval Titan. While the value of Primeval Titan took a tumble thanks to his reprinting, the power remains the same. Resolving Primeval Titan with a Valakut or two on board is almost certainly game over. With Rampant Growth back in your arsenal, more turn 4 Titans are possible, and at a greater consistency than ever before. I wish I could say that there was an evolution to this deck, but there's not. I mean, it's straightforward. I got Valakut and Mountains, and here's my Primeval Titan to kill you. You got a counterspell? No? Sweet. Game 2. This deck changed in that it got Rampant Growth back thanks to M12. Otherwise, if you enjoy this type of combo deck, it's there for the taking. So those are your two big bads to deal with. What's left? Well, first up is Mono Red. This deck is just beautiful in its simplicity. Burn spells, guys, burn spells, artifacts, burn spells, planeswalkers, and in the sideboard, more narrow burn spells. Yep, you know it, I know it, and it's another part of the metagame that you can't ignore. There will be lots of players with this deck because the juicing of Grim Lavamancer and Incinerate is not to be denied. Patrick Sullivan, the quintessential red mage, won a standard tournament in the middle of Jason Stoneforge madness. Surely with those gone, in a creature-filled metagame that makes Searing Blaze spectacular, we can get a red deck wins closer to Tier 1 status. Next up is Blue-Black Control. Now talk about a pile of good cards. This comes in a variety of flavors. We have the Tezzeret versions, with stuff like Spellskites and Torpor Orbs and plenty of discard spells. A slight tweak on that is known as Forge Master Tezzeret, where our favorite Dreadlock sporting Planeswalker teams up with Tinker on a stick. This version runs Blightsteel Colossus with which to beat your opponent senseless with, or fetches up Mindslaver to make you kill yourself, always a fun and interesting experience. Even more interesting blue-black concoctions include Shape Anew to find that 11/11 indestructible infected monster. Yes, 4 Trinket Mage and a single solitary Everflowing Chalice give you effectively 5 Everflowing Chalices in your deck with which to sacrifice to Shape Anew. A quick ruffle through your deck and bam, your opponent is probably crying soon after. But let's get a little more fringe. Have you seen the Tempered Steel decks? Oh, hell yeah. We got ourselves some Vault Scourges and Glenhawks and Glenhawk Idols and Heroes of Bladehold, and they're all about the red zone in this deck. If you enjoy smashing face and dislike red decks, this is the one waiting for you. It's been putting up some serious results on Magic Online Premier events and has all the tools you need to be competitive. I love it. Now, if there's one thing metagames teach us time and time again, it's don't forget about Elves. Elves produce mana faster than any other deck, even Valakut, and can overwhelm opponents quickly. Day of Judgment has fallen out of favor in Standard recently, and if you're not playing red deck, you're probably going to be smashing some serious face with a ton of guys in just a few turns. Between the wonderful flexibility of Dismember to the tutoring of Fauna Shaman, the green guys are always an option in a wide open format. How about something a little more complicated? For those who like to live on the wild side, take a dash of Splinter Twin Combo and add a pinch of Birthing Pod and Season to Taste. This deck was recently played and explained in wonderful detail by Michael Jacob on StarCityGames.com Premium, where he walks you through the myriad of Birthing Pod options on Magic Online, which creatures to tutor up and why, why and how to play the deck versus the field. For those who like to crunch numbers and figure out extensive game plans and execute them, this seems like just your style. But we're not done, not by a long shot. We've got Eldrazi green decks shown to you here in mono green variety, but also available in green white if you prefer a little Journey to Nowhere and Day of Judgment action. This deck does very similar things to Valakut, except it wants to drop Karn Liberated on turn 4 instead of Primeval Titan. And let me tell you, Karn is no joke these days, threatening to win the game on his own if being a little soft to the Splinter Twin Menace. Regardless, Ulamog can hit play with scary consistency, and this deck has gone from 0 to 1 billion mana in just a few turns time and time again. White Weenie decks, however, have a very straightforward plan. Play lots and lots of equipment. Pure Steel Paladin is the man in this deck, playing a whopping 8 swords, a total of 12 pieces of equipment, meaning that better than 1 in 6 draws will result in equipment. With a Pure Steel Paladin out, you get the ultimate spike cliche, putting draw a card on everything you play. You see, there's a running joke with Magic card design. Every card in Magic, every single one, would benefit by adding draw a card to the end of its effect. Sword of War and Peace, add draw a card to it, and you have a better one. Flare Husk, now it's a cantrip, and now it's awesome. Doesn't matter the card, the joke remains the same. Black Lotus, man, if it only drew you a card, then it would be awesome. Anyway, there is no shortage of amazing decks to choose from right now. Wizards wanted to unleash the flood of new and interesting strategies when Jason Stoneforge weren't strangling the format, and boy did they have them. We have lots of tools to fight stupid combo decks with, like Combust and Beast Within and Nature's Claim. People have begun playing main deck spreading seas again, and crazy decks like Green-Red Tokens and Mono-Blue Architect are no longer 0-2 drop decks, but real contenders that do real scary things on tournament tables. The sky is the limit, and the format hasn't been this wide open in some time. I hope all of you deck builders out there start working with the new cards as well. Surely some love can be found for Angelic Destiny and Grand Abolisher, and I'm hoping to see our new Planeswalker see some competitive action soon, with fingers crossed that my personal favorite Swiftfoot Boots also gets its debut under the lights this weekend. Either way, you can watch all of the coverage of the Cincinnati Open this weekend on SCG Live, now starting at 10:15 a.m. instead of noon, so you don't miss a single round of the action. We'll have the awesome duo of Gavin Verhey and Ari Lax at the booth, bringing you all of the action, along with written coverage all day from coverage manager Glenn Jones. Lastly, have you updated your SCG Mobile? Version 1.2 is here, and that means premium access and a ton of bug fixes. If you haven't taken the plunge, you now have no excuses, as the most awesome Magic iPhone app ever just keeps getting better. And for those on Androids, trust me when I say we're working on it as hard as we can. So that's another week in the world of Magic, folks. M12 is going to rock the metagame something fierce with cards like Solemn Simulacrum and Grim Lavamancer ready to make their comeback, and SCG Live is on the forefront with all the new tech. Until next time, Magic players, this is Evan Irwin, tapping the cards so you don't have to.
I always like the fatties.